Hey guys, so my name is Brandon. I'm 33 and I want to start my channel back up talking about money and habits that can help you along your journey to becoming better financially and just improving your life in general. Because if you're anything like me, I was a young kid at one point in time and didn't know much. I didn't know much about investing. I knew how to save pretty well. And I've actually saved my way to a net worth of about 100,000 right now. And that's without investing. And I know that sounds crazy, but after working for 10 years and keeping my head down, I've been able to pull it off. I don't spend my money on frivolous things like most people do. And I want to help the younger generation, or anybody really that's struggling with their finances, on just taking little baby steps to improving yourself and rewiring your brain to be a saver and not a spender. Because nowadays everything is extremely expensive. We have record high inflation. So it's not like the 90s and before, where we could just go out, everything was $1, and we lived well back then, but we live in a different time now. So tough times create stronger men. So we're in the process. I feel like a lot of people are realizing that we've got to get better, improve ourselves and our finances, because otherwise you're going to hit the wall one day like I did, and you're going to wake up at 30 years old and realize that you really haven't amounted to much in your life. Maybe you got into a toxic relationship early on. Maybe, you had a low-wage job, didn't pay you much, and you're having to live paycheck to paycheck. We've all been there. You got to start somewhere. I started at $8 an hour. Now I'm at 20, which really isn't all that great, but by developing really disciplined habits and changing my mindset, I've been able to save a lot of money. I'm actually able to save about half of my paycheck every time I get paid, just by, not going out, partying, drinking. I pretty much gave up alcohol. I don't really see the point in drinking anymore. It's such a waste of money, and it's not good for you. You just feel sick the next day. It's overly expensive. You're paying what, $30, $40, $50 for something that's not even good for you. So same goes for drinking, smoking weed, all these things that so many young people, I see so many of them that do it. And I was that person once. I wasn't perfect. I'm still not perfect, but I wasn't as bad as a lot of people who are like truly addicts. I've seen, I've had alcoholism in my family. It's even killed some of my family. And I don't want that to be, I don't want that to continue. So I broke the cycle. I don't drink, I don't smoke. And honestly, it's so much better for your health, your mental health, your wallet, everything. It's just doing that, just giving up the drugs and the alcohol and the video games, whatever your vices are. That's going to be the first step that you got to do to improving your mindset and working on your finances before you even think about investing, think about, getting promoted, making more money. if you're living in vices, you're drowning in debt, whatever, you're living paycheck to paycheck, you've got to learn ways to manage your money better before you can even start to think about investing, growing your wealth, whatever. And the best way to do that is really just sit down and reflect and ask yourself, should I be doing, am I on the right path? Am I doing the things that I should be doing? Am I, are there things that are not healthy for me, but, they just feel good? I feel like I need it to get through my day. For me, it was, energy drinks were a bad habit for a while for me, because if you buy one every day at work, it seems harmless, right? It seems like, oh, everybody else does it. They, spend $5, $6, $7 a day on fast food, $3 more on an energy drink. So you're spending at least $10 a day just on lunch and a drink. That's at least. And I was doing that at one point until I got smart and realized, hey, if I just buy cheap food that I can take to work with me, I'm saving all that money that, I don't have to go out and go spend, go drive to this fast food, spend more money, wait in line, spend the money, eat unhealthy food, which, by the way, is not good for you to do every day, because it made me really sick doing that for years on years until I finally quit doing that. And I feel so much healthier now, so much better. My mind is clear. I'm not perfect. I still eat sugar sometimes. Trying to drink more water. Trying to give up, the energy drinks. I still have one every now and then, but it's really not a need, it's a want. And we have to separate our needs from our wants. And the earlier you can do that, the better off you're going to be financially. And health, everything, like your health. So yeah, that's probably the first step you should do, is just ask yourself, just sit down and reflect. And if you're young, in your 20s, when I was in my 20s, I didn't want to listen to anybody. I was, stubborn. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do what I want to do. Don't care what anybody says. And that's not the way to be. If you want to improve yourself, you need to have an open mind, open heart. Because if I would have listened when I was younger, I'd be a lot further ahead than I am right now. I'd probably have 200K in the bank, but, I made some mistakes along the way, and finally woke up at about 30 years old and realized, hey, I need to really make a change, because I didn't feel good. Like, I ate like shit in my 20s. Just McDonald's, fast food every day for lunch. Just drinking all these sodas and energy drinks. I didn't even smoke or anything, but it's like just the eating habits were terrible. Drinking alcohol, not good. It dehydrates you, and it costs a lot of money. So that's setting you back financially. And, in my 20s, I just didn't really think about things the way that I do now. And I think a lot of people, younger people especially, they don't realize the harm they're doing to themselves financially, mentally, health, whatever. They don't realize it, or they just don't care, whatever the case may be. And if you're okay living like a loser and living, just continue doing what you're doing. If you don't see any problems in your actions, no one can force you to change. You have to really wake up one day and just decide that you want to change. And that's what I did, because I was very stubborn in my 20s. I was very rebellious as a teenager, and up until, I finally hit the wall at about 29 years old, I finally realized, it's time to grow up. No one's come to save me. I've got 2 kids now, one on the way. And I want to be as good as a person as I can to set a good example for my children and set them up for success in their life, financially, mentally, health-wise. If I'm not doing the good habits, I can't expect my children to grow up doing the good habits. So, having kids changed my mindset a lot too. Because when you don't have kids, it's just you and your partner, or if you may not have a partner, because I used to be by myself a lot. And when you're by yourself, you don't care as much about, at least I didn't care as much about my life and my future. It's not something I thought about as much. I was just like, okay, I'll just play this video game for a few hours. I'll just, drink some alcohol, have some fun with my friends, whatever. Talk to girls online, scroll Facebook all day. And everything really is either an addiction or it's just a bad habit. And if you continue to do these things, they're going to become more addictive. And it's so bad for your mental state. It just makes you tired, sluggish, makes you, unambitious. It's just not good. And it took me, 20, 25, 26 years to finally get out of that cycle. It took me a long time, probably longer than other people. And the sooner that you can start bettering yourself and waking up to what you're doing, and just being self-aware with yourself mentally, and asking yourself, am I on the right path? Am I doing the right things? Am I spending my money in the right places? Am I taking care of my body? Am I working out? Am I just, smoking weed all day, just drinking, living it up? I mean, those things sounded fun when we were younger. But as you get older, you realize you can't keep doing those things if you want to be successful in life. So, so this video, basically, number one, get rid of your vices. If you can, it's not going to be easy, because I was a video game addict for about 25 years of my life. And that was not easy to just cold turkey. But now I can't even hardly touch a video game without, because in my chest, I feel like I should be doing something else. Whenever I sit down to watch a movie or play a game, I could be doing something more productive with my time that could advance me in my future. So I think a lot of people, younger people especially, because you feel like you're invincible when you're younger. You feel like you have all the time in the world. You feel like, 30, 40, 50, it's so far off. I have plenty of time. I don't have to worry about it. I'll think about my future in 20 years. But the truth is, the earlier you start, it's going to position yourself to be so much greater when that time does come. You'll be in so much of a better spot, financially, spiritually, mentally, whatever it may be. But you got to work on yourself one day at a time, because otherwise you're going to wake up one day and hit the wall like so many people do, and realize that you've screwed up. And then you're going to try to rush and fix your life like I did, and try to do everything, and then you're going to get burned out. So the sooner you start doing the right things, the better you're going to be. And it's just a process. I mean, nobody's perfect. But if you're in a bad situation right now, it could be you're just depressed because your girl broke up with you, or your family doesn't treat you well, you didn't have a good childhood, whatever it might be. You may have grown up, poor, your family lived paycheck to paycheck, but you don't have to continue that cycle. You can break out of it. I didn't grow up in money, but you know, we had enough. My parents were hardworking, but they weren't rich. And I want to be the first millionaire in my family. I'm determined to reach that goal. And 100K, you know, once you hit that, I heard it snowballs. So, and now I'm really getting into investing in stocks and high yield savings accounts. And so I'm hoping that will help you reach my goal faster. But, you know, if I had started this 10 years ago, when I was 23, I'd probably be half a millionaire by now. But, you know, we live and learn. Not everybody knows everything. Not everybody has that guidance at a young age. But there's things you can do, small steps you can take to improve yourself, your finances, just the daily things that we need to reflect on and be self-aware on, where we're spending, what we're doing with our time and our money. If you can do that and start to make small changes, you'll be much better off for it. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.